Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have back Gary Blanchard, and Gary has been with us many times over the years. I think he was even with us when we started in 2012, and that was kind of a cute story. He was we were over temporarily over at the fire station, their lounge, and evidently he couldn't find exactly where we were, and he was walking around with his guitar, walking all around the fire station building. It must have been so funny to people in there, but he found us, and that's how we got to meet him. And we heard his songs, and I said, you know what, we've got to have as our intro and our exit for some of his a couple of his songs. And so when you hear Run, River, Run and the Gypsy Moon, those are written by Gary and sung by Gary. Welcome back, Gary Blanchard.
Well, thank you. It's always great to be here.
He is a musician, songwriter, artist. Wait till you see his positive oracle cards. And he also has his own cable television show called Creative Connections. And Gary, how do they watch that on YouTube?
If you go on YouTube and you search for Creative Connections, it will come up. And I also have a web page for it that's creativeconnections.co. And the shows on the web page are divided like artists and crafters, singers and musicians, writers and poets, and a couple other categories, including kind of a miscellaneous category for people who don't
know about it
fit into a standard category.
What do they press?
It just says, I think,
on miscellaneous,
something like that.
We just had I would have the honor of being a guest on Gary's show, Creative Connections, down in Ware, and he has a great, hi Stanley, shout out, great guy that runs the studio, right? And Gary's wife Carol was with us too, and she was watching. And every show has a flavor, and his has his own cool flavor, and you named it yourself.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that now?
I've been doing it, I started it I think 4 years ago, and then of course COVID got in the way for a couple years.
Yeah, we were shut down too.
And actually I had sort of stopped a little before COVID because I was overextended in what I was doing, but now that I am almost retired, I've got a little more time for it, so.
That's good. You know, when do you see these oracle cards? What do you want to start with, the tunes or the cards? What would you like to start with?
It doesn't matter to me.
Show us the cards.
Okay.
I've got to see these. They just came in today.
Yeah, they just arrived today. This is the kind of the sample. So when they're up for sale, they'll be in this bag, and you have the cards.
And you've designed them up yourself.
The back is all the same, but each card is something I designed using digital collage.
Oh, can you hold them up, Paul? Can you zero in on these? Show us some of these, Gary. You can't miss this. These are beautiful.
All right, so.
There he is.
Okay, this one is Imagine. And actually, this image I took and added to it to make a 16 by 20 print that is going to be in an art show that opens next Wednesday.
Where's that going to be?
That's going to be at Art Space in Ware, which is part of Workshop 13.
Very good.
So this card says Imagine.
Oh, I love the blue.
This is Explore.
Oh my God.
Insight. So for each of these cards, if you were to draw a card, let's say that you drew the card that says Journey, you would then go to the book that comes with it.
Oh, it comes with a book. Explanations. Yep, there it is. What's it say on the front of it, Gary, your book?
It's Positive Path Oracle Card Guidebook.
How about that?
So all these are in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So I just have to go to Imagine. And for each one of these, there's a quote.
Yeah.
This one is, "Imagine and it shall be, there are no limits." Evelyn Skye. Then there's a couple of paragraphs about imagination. And then for each one, there's our discussion questions.
Huh.
So that, families or groups could get together, kind of draw a card, and then have a discussion about what that means to them.
So it's an individual, it's almost like tarot.
It's like tarot, except it's not really designed for telling the future as much as it is for just kind of guidance in living life.
If you tried it out, well, you just arrived. So what are you going to do to try it out with people?
I'm going to be, there's a couple places I think that will be carrying it.
Yeah.
Right now, like I say, this is sort of the sample. I've ordered some more. The company that makes them is great, but they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So it takes a little time, but I'm going to take them around to a few people and show them. Woman from the craft shop where we have some of our stuff wants to hold on to this for a little bit to show people and take orders.
Yeah, sure.
So
have you've heard of Book Lovers Gourmet up in Webster, right?
Right.
I'll bet you Deb Horan would like that. And you could go over there and give a presentation as to what they're about. Mm-hmm. That's another great place I can think of for you to go.
Okay.
Yeah, really. You know how to get a hold of Deb, right?
Right.
Right. But we're talking with Gary Blanchard, the man of many talents. He's been our musician, songwriter, artist for many years. Cable TV host. He has his own show, Creative Connections, which is out of where? Once again, how do they get a hold of that show? How do they watch you?
Yeah, you can search for Creative Connections on YouTube, or you can go to creativeconnections.co and come up to the webpage with all of the shows on it.
If someone wants to be on your show as a guest, will they connect with you on your email?
Yes.
How can they do that?
That would be Gary Blanchard at Hughes, HUGHES.net.
There. So there. He's got a show, and you don't have to just be on mine. You could be on Gary's. He's a great host. He really is. And the setup, did you design, didn't you have a design into that?
Yeah, I designed the background.
Yeah, the connections part of it. Yeah,
Right.
It's colorful. It's really nice. Now, it's over in where, by the way? Play us some tunes. What are the newest? Have you got some new ones up there?
Do you know, it's a funny thing, but basically at the end of 2021, I think I just sort of felt like I had written enough.
Yeah.
And I've written about 2 songs since, and I've played them once or twice at an open mic, but I think I'm going off into so many other directions that I'm letting my past writing speak for itself.
There you go.
So.
And there's a lot of tunes. I have my own favorites. I love that Gypsy Moon one, too, is really cool. Here he goes.
Run, river, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your home beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me. You run through the land and you run through my soul. Bring me wisdom and peace. Run through the ages, all of life's stages. Bring me round, find my release. Run, river, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your home beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me. You run through the whole world and you run through my mind. Bring me to understand my place. Run through my mother, my sister and my brother. Give me power to deal with all I face. Run, river, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your home beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Oh, you know, the viewers, the audience, don't get to hear the whole song because it goes into the show. So you just heard the whole version of it, and it is absolutely beautiful. Were you on the show, and the first time you were on the show, didn't you play that?
I think I did.
I just took to it. I said, and Glenn, our former producer, we put our heads together. We had a lead-in song, but I said, no. This is what we want. And then the going out one is the Gypsy Moon. That one goes a little longer because it's showing the credits and everything.
Right.
So a lot of people who don't know you, Gary, when did you start playing guitar? It was long ago, right?
I started playing guitar in about 1966. And I'm basically self-taught. I bought a book called 12 Bob Dylan Songs Playable with 3 Magic Chords. And I learned 3 chords. And little by little added another chord here, another chord there. And
that's how it happened.
Yeah. But because I'm self-taught, I do a lot of things strangely, and it's sometimes hard working with other musicians.
Yeah.
Because I've developed a lot of bad habits over the years.
Like what? I've never seen them.
Yeah, but quirky rhythms and I've never gotten into some of the power chords that the rock players use, and I've done a couple lead guitar things on a couple of songs, but for the most part, strictly rhythm. And I came up with this 2-finger finger picking.
Yeah.
And what you're supposed to do is use 3 fingers.
But you wanted to do it too.
But because I didn't know what I was doing, I learned to do it with 2 fingers. But I can't get some of those nice sounds that people. I was just watching James Taylor.
Yeah.
And his guitar playing is just absolutely mind-blowing.
James Taylor, interesting guy. You should mention it. I was just beginning to read about him. I think he created 1 or 2 songs when he was in a mental health facility.
Yeah.
And he liked this girl. Oh, what was it? He wrote about her. She was leaving.
Yeah, Fire and Rain.
Yeah, she left and didn't say goodbye. I've always wondered. I've got to find out where he was, because there are so many around.
I think it was McLean Hospital.
Oh, yeah, up in the Boston area.
Yeah.
And I know down in New Canaan, Connecticut, there's one where a lot of stars have gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think Peter Criss, the drummer for Kiss, was down there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that he wasn't really a star back when he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what was it? Fire and Rain now? Now, where was the first time you ever appeared with your guitar? I mean, you were hired to come there.
Hired to come there? That's a good question. I know the very first performance I ever did was with my older brother, Ken. And it was for a church gathering, and we sang Kumbaya. At first, my family told me I didn't have a voice. So
little did they know.
I kind of ended up playing guitar and doing some backup singing for my brother.
Yeah.
But, with practice, my voice grew stronger, and, my interest was stronger in it than my brother's was. So we ended up, I started doing solo type things. But
so you took the reins and ran with it.
Yeah. And back then in the late 60s, early 70s, there was, like a whole circuit of church coffee houses.
Yes.
And, so I would kind of do that circuit, playing mostly like Simon and Garfunkel and Beatles songs and stuff like that, and then a few songs that I had written. Very few songs from those early days have survived
Yeah.
till now.
Yeah.
Ironically, the one song that I still do play sometimes that I wrote in about 67 is a song called Drinking Cherry Wine,
That's right.
which is about aging.
Yeah.
You know, as a 16-year-old, I knew so much about that.
Yeah. What made you think of drinking cherry wine? Who around you drank that?
Well, you know, it's a funny thing because there was a cheap wine back then called Cherry Flip.
Flip?
Flip. You know, think like Mogan David, you know, the Mad Dog 2020,
Yeah.
Thunderbird. Cherry Flip was in that range. You didn't drink it for the taste. You drank it to get drunk. So I think that's kind of, you know, and I pictured these old people with jelly glasses
Yeah.
drinking this, and my brother always saw it as these elegant people
Yeah.
sitting at a table, you know, table with a tablecloth and the long stem glasses,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, but you know, that's
You nailed it. You got it. That was 67, right?
Yeah,
You were only a sophomore.
yeah.
You were 7. When you graduated high school, where did you head from there?
You know, when I graduated high school, I headed all the wrong directions. I did a semester and a half in 1970 of college, met a girl in my Spanish class in that half semester, and 3 months later got married to her.
Oh my God.
Not recommended.
No.
Out there, you know, don't try this at home,
No,
right?
don't do it.
But, you know, it's the way I look at it, we have these experiences, and if we can learn from them and grow, then there's no sense in regretting them, because we can't go back and change them. So it's just like, okay, those were some hard-learned lessons, but
So you went to college. What did you study?
I was going to be an English teacher when I was,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, then, like I say, I ended up dropping out, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until 1993 that I went back to college to get a degree.
And was it in psychology?
In human services counseling with a minor in communications.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to get my master's, I got that in addiction counseling. So,
Addiction counseling, which we need so much. You stopped doing that, though. I bet you were very good at that.
yeah, I still do. I do about 10 hours a week online counseling.
Zoom, like a Zoom type of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you miss it?
No, not really. You know, I might be totally happy to not do it at all, except I like having extra spending money.
Well put. Well put. Well, you probably get word travels, and you probably get customers. How do they call it? Clients, because other people have said he's terrific. Go see him.
It happens, and every now and then I get somebody who calls me up who I saw back in my private practice, and they'll say, you know, well, can we come to see you again?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm working through a company called 413 Therapy, so I just let them get in touch with them, and they set it up, and I'm seeing a couple of people that I saw, you know, a number of years ago who felt like they needed a little more help and guidance, and
Yeah.
you know, very nicely felt like I had helped them and
Yeah.
wanted to
They passed the
come
word
back.
on.
Yeah,
We're talking with Gary Blanchard, and Gary is the musician. He is it. He's the one who wrote the song "Run River Run." He sings it when you hear the beginning and the opening of our show, and the Gypsy Moon at the exit of the song. He's also, since I've known him, he has morphed. He's an entrepreneur completely. He's terrific. Musician, songwriter, artist. He'll show you again the cards that he made. Cable TV host. When I first met you, I bet you did you even think of doing that?
No.
And now he is the host of Creative Connections, based in where? One more time, how can they get a hold of that show?
That would be www.creativeconnections.co.
And do you have all kinds of guests on?
Anybody in any kind of creative format. I've, of course, had musicians and writers and painters, but I've had a brewmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people who do maple sugaring.
Ooh.
I've had a sound engineer on.
Yeah.
The last show I taped was with a person from the Ware Recovery Center of Hope, who is co-sponsoring with Workshop 13 an art exhibit.
Yeah.
And it was nice because she was not only able to come on and talk about that, we also got to talk a bit about recovery.
Yeah.
Which was, nice because that is, something that I've been involved in for a long time. And ordinarily I wouldn't be able to bring that onto the show.
But
because,
now you can.
The art connection is like, okay,
Yes.
there's my door in. So
Exactly. I believe strongly that art is extremely healing. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a perfectionist. It can be very healing. No matter anxiety, depression, addiction, you name it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that creative outlets get you in touch with that deeper part of you that, you could call the spirit, you could call it what you will. And that connection is important in the healing process, recovering from addiction or mental illness. So I think it's a wonderful way to sort of get in touch with that deeper part of you that we often get pulled away from.
Do you think they're using it more in recovery centers, addiction centers, or not enough?
I think it's getting used a little more.
Good.
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 What I find with what they call the recovery movement, the focus is moving away from you have to do it this way.
Yeah.
To find your path. And it's also moving away from I need to be anonymous to I want people to know that I am proudly in recovery.
Yep.
Which is important because it puts a public face. Because people see active addiction, but they don't recognize active recovery because it just seems like normal life.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, but it hasn't been normal for this person for years.
No, it hasn't been. Show us again your cards.
Okay.
You've got these oracle cards. You've got to see them.
Yeah.
And how people can buy them too, Gary.
Well, I don't know yet just how people are going to be able to buy them, but we have.
Show us all kinds of pictures.
Yeah, this one is called Opening.
Yeah.
And Presence.
Oh God.
Renewal. Sharing.
Oh.
So for each one of these are digital collages. So I would start with a background.
Yeah.
And then start adding images to it because I can't draw. But
We won't hold it against you.
Yeah. Digital collage
Yeah.
allows me to combine images into something new, and I try to keep things like very open to interpretations.
Look at these. I mean, can you imagine you pick one and you can go from there?
Acceptance.
What does that one say? That one right there.
Acceptance.
Boy, that's a hard one. You pick that one, it's like, uh-oh. I gotta try to accept everything.
Balance.
Important.
Absolutely. Caring.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean these you make them and you're not quite sure, that first time, because you've never dealt with the company, you're not quite sure what you're going to get.
You've got a really humdinger, I think.
Yeah, the company did a beautiful job. As I say, I placed the order July 1st, and it arrived today.
Yeah. We're talking with Gary Blanchard. Gary, how can they get a hold of you if they would like to have you do some songs, play for them somewhere? Also, if they'd like to get on your show, tell us how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, my email is garyblanchard@hughes.net, HUGHES, and send me an email. And
there you go. Now, as we end, I hate to end it, but can you play the Gypsy Moon? People hear, or something like something.
Yeah, let me do one of my later songs.
Okay.
Called "Welcome to Wonderland."
All right.
Welcome to Wonderland. Don't try to understand. Things can get quite out of hand in Wonderland. You're running around and then you fall. First you are big and then you are small. Then it feels like you are nowhere at all. And you think that you are everywhere. Welcome to Wonderland. Don't try to understand. Things can get quite out of hand in Wonderland. The caterpillar on his mushroom throne, the grinning cat who won't leave you alone. First he's there, and then he's gone, leaving nothing behind but a smile. Welcome to Wonderland. Don't try to understand. Things can get quite out of hand in Wonderland. The Mad Hatter serves you some tea, then you can't believe what you see. You think you are you think you are me, and you think that you are everywhere. Welcome to Wonderland. Don't try to understand. Things can get quite out of hand in Wonderland. In Wonderland.
He's got that voice, he's got his style. I could pick up his songs, his singing anywhere. I don't know if a lot of people can do that, but I would know your song and your voice anywhere. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
He came up all the way from West Brookfield today, ran into what was it, the mess pipe?
Yeah.
Oh, we were beginning to get a little concerned, like, they must have gotten stopped somewhere. Don't worry, we'll have him back again. He is our resident musician, and has been since, I believe, 2012. We had not strayed.
Yeah, that's 10 years. Wow.
Yeah, now you've come a long way, baby. His own television show. He's designed the cards. He's a songwriter, musician. What more could you want? Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.